Wow, the Venture Bros. Ever wonder what life's like in a family of secret spies and mad scientists? Picture this: bizarre villains, wacky robots, and the craziest gadgets.
Helper, prep the X-1 for takeoff.
It's all there, spanning 7 epic seasons and ending with a spectacular movie finale. It's a whirlwind of clever humor and non-stop adventure. Get set for a wild ride through the entire Venture family saga, from start to end. But first, let's set the stage, shall we? Picture a world where super science and super silliness collide, led by the not-so-brilliant but ever-ambitious Dr. Thaddeus Rusty Venture. He's a scientist with big dreams and, let's just say, unique inventions. Rusty's doing his best to fill his super genius dad's shoes, but it's one wacky misstep after another. In this roller coaster ride, meet his sons, Hank and Dean. Hank's fearless, always jumping into action with a goofy grin. Dean, he's the sweet, sensitive kid with a head full of dreams and a heart of gold. They're twins, but with day and night personalities, adding to the family's dynamic mix. Don't forget Brock Samson, the bodyguard with muscles like rocks and a mullet that means business. He's part bodyguard, part babysitter, and all action. When danger knocks, Brock answers with a punch. And who can miss the Monarch, with his butterfly obsession and his flair for the dramatic? He's the self-proclaimed arch-nemesis of Dr. Venture. But let's be honest, sometimes he's more of a grumpy moth than a mighty monarch. So there you have it, an extraordinary cast in a world brimming with humor, action, and relentless surprises. Excited yet? You should be. Now let's jump straight into episode 1.
Who are you?
Listen to you, me! Start you with a beverage?
In Dia de los Dangerous, Dr. Venture, our quirky scientist, heads to Tijuana for a lecture. But it's the Day of the Dead, so only a few students show up.
I'm only sorry there wasn't a better turnout. It's difficult to hold the students' attention during Dia de los Muertos.
Meanwhile, his sons, Hank and Dean, are off buying cool sombreros, and Brock Samson, their tough-as-nails bodyguard, is totally unimpressed by Venture's speech. Then, a sneaky butterfly drone from the Monarch, Venture's flamboyant archenemy, lands on Rusty. The Monarch mistakenly thinks Venture is there to ruin his plans.
He's obviously followed us down here. Someone must have leaked our whereabouts to him, but who?
And sends his henchmen, including a newbie named Speedy, to spy on them. Things get wild when the twins, exploring on their own, are kidnapped by the henchmen. Brock goes into beast mode to rescue them, but gets tranquilized and buried alive. Or so they think. Meanwhile, Venture loses a kidney again and turns Helper, their robot, into a dialysis machine. In a crazy twist, Brock bursts out of his grave.
Brock! You're alive! It worked!
Rescues the boys, and they all zoom away in a car dropped from a jet. In the end, Venture needs a kidney transplant, and well, in true Venture style, the boys have to donate after they tie in rock, paper, scissors. What a wild mix of chaos, humor, and family drama. Venturing into the eerie and the absurd, Ghost of the Sargasso plunges us into a spooky sea saga. In '69, the original Team Venture watches in horror as Major Tom crashes his plane into the ocean.
Ashes. To ashes.
Fast forward to now, and Dr. Venture, sporting a clunky diving suit, seeks the lost plane's treasures, dictating his every dramatic move. Whoa, talk about a deep-sea mystery.
Now hold on, Doc. I think I see something that makes no sense. Gotta check it out.
Meanwhile, Brock, hands wounded, spots a ghost ship, and Hank has a clumsy encounter with actual pirates in glow-in-the-dark gear. But these are no ordinary sea thieves. They're stranded, snatching passing ships' cargoes of toys and pantyhose. As Brock's taken captive, he cheekily hides the key to the X2, leading to a rather invasive pirate search. Yikes.
And remember how you complained when we hit that Red Cross ship? Oh.
Amidst the chaos, a spectral Major Tom's head reappears, and Hank bravely retakes the ship with Brock's guidance. With a comically forced apology from the pirate captain,
I'm really sorry about this whole mess, and
an odd scream-filled ghost busting, our heroes somewhat triumphantly and bizarrely end the night with Coco in hand. Go Team Venture, the boys exclaimed, baffling everyone, especially the pirates. What a wild ride. Jumping right into the chilly action, Ice Station Impossible heats things up with Dr. Thaddeus Venture, his pals Billy Quizboy and Pete White getting an invite from their stretchy old college professor, Richard Impossible. They're at a cool Arctic think tank when things get a bit wacky with a drug test mix-up. Dr. Venture spills clean urine and has to dodge giving his own sample.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Meanwhile, the toughest nails race Bannon fights Snake Man, drops a secret formula, and has a crash landing that'll make any action hero blush. Hank ends up with the formula and turns into a ticking time bomb. Back with Dr. Venture. Flirting turns to fleeing when Sally Impossible's skin disappears, showing off her muscles.
Please, Dr. Venture.
Oh, and don't forget her hot-headed brother Cody and big-hearted cousin Ned. Family gatherings must be a blast. Things go south when Richard Impossible leaves Dr. Venture in the cold, but never fear, Brock and the boys are on it.
Here, put this on. Okay.
They crack the case, whipping up a cure that's not really a cure. Hello, ranch dressing.
It didn't work. You people invented ranch dressing.
And save Hank from going boom. In the end, a sneaky peek at a urine sample drops a baby bombshell. Sally's pregnant and Richard's left scratching his head. Talk about a wild and frosty ride at the Impossible base. Diving into the jungle tricks, Are You There, God? It's Me, Dean, delivers quite the twisty tale. Team Venture's in a sticky situation, dangled over a river by the Monarch, who loves his creepy fish facts. But wait,
I'm serious. I really feel sick.
Don't even think about ralphing on me.
Dean's in pain, citing a rule about sick hostages. Dr. Venture negotiates a temporary swap. Hank for Dean's freedom. Brock, the muscle-bound protector, goes along to keep an eye on Hank. Enter Master Billy Quizboy and Pete White, the oddball genius duo. They're on a mission to fix Dean's emergency, testicular torsion. Ouch!
The bad news is that you have a condition known as acute testicular torsion.
What does that mean?
It's a clumsy and silly surgery with flying testicles and mishaps galore, while Dr. Venture chills out with a sandwich. Meanwhile, the Monarch's birthday bash is a bust, with Hank in a henchman suit adding to his woes. But a thrilled Monarch watches Brock unleash mayhem, seeking a trade for Hank. Just when the party can get weirder, news of Dean's recovery breaks the fight.
My testicles spun around. Hey, Hank, I had emergency surgery.
And it's back to square one, until Hank's sudden yelp hints at a twist ending. And for a quirky goodbye, Team Venture's awkward Get the Facts video about, you guessed it, testicular torsion brings home the message with a helmeted Hank and Dean. Stop, touch, and tell. Zooming to a not-so-ordinary yard sale, tag sale, you're it. It's all about Dr. Thaddeus Venture's big clear-out, drawing in a quirky crowd of adventurers, heroes, and villains. Picture it, Brock Sampson, Team Venture's human tank of a bodyguard, is keeping an eye on things, while Hank turns bossy lemonade stand manager with his brother Dean, the mystical Triana Orpheus, and her robot pal, Helper.
You're on counter. Look alive! There he goes. Looks like our little Dean is growing up.
Talk about a funky yard sale crew. The Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend, his partner in crime, flip through the sale, tossing zingers at fashion fail villains, while Master Billy Quizboy and Pete White, two of the more unique brains of the bunch, fail at flirting, despite Billy's big noggin and Pete's pale charm. Oh, the social awkwardness. Dr. Venture's chillin', selling a fancy but useless lightsaber, while Dr. Orpheus, the dramatic necromancer, dreams of a life filled with archenemies and excitement.
Oh, it must be dreamy to have a costumed nemesis chasing you, wringing his gloved hands in concern of your every move.
A quick tip and a magical hot foot later, the Monarch's still just confused. Classic Monarch, right? Chaos erupts after the Monarch's mischievousness at the tag sale turns into a full-blown brawl, with Brock and Dr. Orpheus jumping into action. Meanwhile, the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend sneak around, seeking playfulness.
What can I do to this guy that life hasn't already? I almost feel sorry for him.
Only to find Dr. Venture's life rather sad. Their sneaky day ends dangling from a ceiling, waiting for a quiet exit. What a wild and wacky day at the Venture yard sale. Venturing back to college days, past tense kicks off with Team Venture, including the iconic Dr. Thaddeus Rusty Venture, hustling to a funeral in the X1. But whoops, they crash right into the graveyard.
Sorayama funeral? Oh great, thanks a bunch.
Making quite the entrance. At the service, they remember Mike Sorayama, a college buddy with a distinct accent and a crush on a girl named Leslie. Flashback time, young Rusty's losing his hair and hanging with pals like Pete White with a hilarious nickname for Sorayama's crush, and the future tough guy Brock Sampson, who's Rusty's roomie. And oh, that creepy guy with the Monarch butterflies? Yup, that's the Monarch. But wait, it's a trap. Shackles, gas, and a flying coffin. Classic Sorayama prank, right? Hank and Dean, Rusty's clueless but brave sons, dial up the original Team Venture for help.
Hank, we're not grown up enough to rescue Dad and Brock by ourselves. We need help.
We've got Colonel Horace Gentleman, Master Origami Communicator Kano, Fishiato Aquarius, and a gassy action man to the rescue. Meanwhile, the captives meet the Leslie bots, robots with a face for radio, and Sorayama's voice blaming Rusty & Co. for college grudges.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome, Mike. We love Mike.
Aren't my robots beautiful?
While the old Team Venture plays detective, flashbacks reveal college pranks gone wrong, with fake love declarations and oregano pot. The plot twist, Sorayama's dead. Like, really dead. Robot dead. As Team Venture suits up in robot disguises, Brock's college guilt over an accidental football tragedy comes to light. In a flashback mashup, Brock's temper leads to a real-world robot tumble. In the end, Sorayama's true robotic nature is uncovered.
He's not just a ghost, he's a ghost robot! That explains everything.
And everyone heads home, except Pete and Underbite, still stuck. A final peek into the past shows Brock's path from college to army, leaving Venture with one more goodbye, the news of his father's passing. In the episode The Trial of the Monarch, we find ourselves in a courtroom turned circus. Hank and Dean Venture give wacky testimony against the Monarch, the butterfly-themed baddie who's now in hot water for a crime that he may not have committed. Picture this, a tiny lawyer attached to a big guy.
Most of them are wilder than a peach orchard hall, but this one here'll go down like all the others.
Security guards mysteriously taken down, and the Monarch himself, hilariously trying to defend his actions. What a bizarrely entertaining trial. In this tangled web, Dr. Venture moans about missed opportunities to call the cops on the Monarch, unaware that villain vendettas are brewing.
If I knew you could just call the cops on him, I would have done it years ago.
Flashbacks reveal the Monarch's rocky romance with Dr. Girlfriend and his jealousy over her consolation visit to an ex, the menacing Phantom Limb. Oh, the drama of villain love triangles. Amidst the trial's mayhem, Dr. Orpheus, the team's dramatic necromancer, steps in, about to unveil truths, when BAM! Mysterious guild operatives freeze the room. Brock and the boys dodge the freeze fest by hiding out. Talk about a supernatural surprise. Turns out, this whole legal shindig is a ruse by Phantom Limb to frame the Monarch, and even Dr. Girlfriend has her doubts. But as the courtroom unfreezes, the plot succeeds. The Monarch is deemed guilty, and Dr. Orpheus unwittingly supports the verdict, manipulated by Phantom Limb's whispering wiles. A twist no one saw coming. In the end, the Monarch, now in orange prison garb, still holds a torch for Dr. Girlfriend, unaware his visitor is actually a henchman in disguise. The episode closes on this comedic yet slightly touching note, leaving us with a chuckle and a cliffhanger. Will the Monarch ever catch a break? Stay tuned. Diving into the return of Spider Skull Island, the season 1 finale, Dr. Venture's got a bellyache that turns out to be his long-lost twin.
I'll give you a hint. We used to share a rather cramped little one-bedroom down on Mommy Street.
Yup, a twin brother who's part robot, named Jonas Venture Jr., pops out during surgery, and he's out for revenge. Meanwhile, Hank and Dean, thinking their dad's pregnant, decide to hit the road and end up in jail. Dr. Orpheus, their neighbor, and a powerful sorcerer, tries to be the cool dad, but let's just say magic and diners don't mix well. Back at home, Brock, the super strong bodyguard, gets knocked out cold, and Dr. Venture's chased by his mini-robot twin through the lab.
Your body's a mess. It's become absolutely uninhabitable.
Just when things look grim, Brock zooms in with a car on fire to save the day.
Don't
He tried to kill you, Doc.
I know, but he's my brother.
The brothers make up and decide to share everything, but when the Monarch, their butterfly-themed archenemy, tries to steer the boys right, things go boom. And we're left with a bang that no one saw coming, and the grown-ups, they're already thinking about what's next. Talk about a family reunion gone explosive. Venturing into the chaos of grief and cloning, powerless in the face of death, kicks off Season 2. After the shocking loss of Hank and Dean, Dr. Venture goes globetrotting to find himself, dodging Brock, who's on a mission to bring him back to face reality. And the bills.
Got responsibilities at home. The bills are stacking up and you have to deal with what happened to the boys.
Meanwhile, Jonas Jr. outshines his brother by nearly finishing all of Venture's government projects, then scoots off with 2 ladies. Back home, Rusty fires his forgotten adventure pals, Hector and Swifty, leading to a teleporter mishap that leaves him part in wall, part in TV. The Monarch, in prison love troubles, plots a breakout with some hilariously unreliable allies, only to be betrayed.
How are you doing with Phase 2?
Just finishing up. Right here.
Dr. Orpheus tries to bring the boys back with necromancy, but surprise, it's cloning. The boys' goofy, unfinished clones struggle to do their signature cheer, as Rusty reveals their recurring deaths are just a blip in their clone cycle. Ending on a dirty note, the Monarch escapes through the sewers, only to grab the hand of Dr. Venture's disembodied right side. Swinging into a world of heroes and silly villains, Hate Floats kicks off with the Monarch's clumsy henchmen, 21 and 24, trying to rally the troops with promises of an action-packed lifestyle.
When I get out, I expect you to be here, and I expect this cocoon to be fully manned and fully operational.
Meanwhile, Dr. Venture is at the mall, pushing speed suits on Dean, his clone, who's clueless it's his 16th birthday. Oh boy, talk about an awkward birthday shopping trip.
A properly fit speed suit should crotch at least 6 inches below your natural inseam.
Chaos erupts when the Monarch swoops in to kidnap his ex, Dr. Girlfriend, and the new henchmen clash with Venture's bodyguard Brock, leading to an eye-popping scuffle and a team-up between Brock and Phantom Limb, a baddie with invisible limbs, and a grudge. Whoa, now that's an unexpected alliance.
Not me. We. I left out one small detail. The Monarch also kidnapped your entire family.
While Dr. Girlfriend takes the wheel, Hank wonders if she's more than just an acquaintance, sparking a wild drive with the fate of our characters hanging in the balance. Fasten your seatbelts, folks, because this is no ordinary mall outing. Venturing into a whirlwind of action and comedy, assassinating 911, young Brock Sampson meets his shittery mentor, Colonel Hunter Gathers, in a flashback setting the tone for Brock's daring life in the Office of Secret Intelligence, the OSI.
Can you keep your head about you when confronted with mind-blowing weirdness at every turn?
Yes.
Are you ready for anything?
Yes.
Fast forward to the present, Brock preps the Ventures for his absence, introducing Molotov Cocktease as their temporary bodyguard. She's a fierce, no-nonsense mercenary, and she's here to toughen up the boys. Meanwhile, Brock's mission involves tracking his mentor, Gathers, who's gone rogue.
Hunter.
Did you know him?
He was the second closest thing to a father I ever had.
He dives into the ocean in a torpedo pod, heading to Macronesia. Back at the compound, Mul's training is hardcore, involving bullet dodging and intense hand-to-hand combat. Hank and Dean, the Venture brothers, get a harsh lesson in survival. As Brock reaches an island, he encounters a native girl with beer, and a wild night ensues. In a twist, the girl feigns death, leaving Brock to ponder Gather's change of heart. Back home, all's tough love continues, causing some jealousy and chaos among the boys. The climax reveals Gathers has undergone a drastic change, challenging Brock's principles. The episode wraps up with Mul leaving after Brock declines her offer to join her in mercenary life, and Hank gets grounded for a misadventure. Escape to the House of Mummies Part 2 is an episode that playfully confounds expectations. There's no Part 1. It's all part of the show's quirky humor. The episode tosses our heroes, Dr. Venture, Brock and the Venture Boys, Hank and Dean, into an Egyptian-themed time-traveling roller coaster, complete with the unexpected likes of Freud and Caligula.
No, just drop it there. I'll get it later.
Trapped in a pyramid with closing spiked walls and a tiny jackal head as the only exit, the team's plight is hilariously hopeless. Dr. Venture's exasperation with his son's ineptitude is comical, leading to a frantic call to the leaf-raking magic user Dr. Orpheus for help. Orpheus's bizarre method of locating them, involving Dean's imagination, adds to the episode's funny charm. Meanwhile, Dr. Venture's return to the compound and the ensuing science versus magic debate.
Anytime, any place.
With Orpheus revolving around a shrink ray, injects a delightful dose of absurdity. The scene is a fantastic blend of humor and a witty nod to classic sci-fi tropes. The episode continues its madcap journey as Brock and the boys escape, befriending a mummy and Dean's miraculous survival of decapitation thanks to pyramid power. Their unexpected time travel, which includes wrestling with Edgar Allan Poe, amps up the nonsensical fun. Venture's chaotic search for the shrink ray, Triana's shock at discovering her closet is a gateway to hell.
Great, my closet is the door to hell.
The necropolis, a porthole to the necropolis.
And Orpheus's casual chat with his crotch-licking, three-headed dogmaster all contribute to the episode's off-the-wall humor. The episode wraps up with a heartwarming moment where Dr. Venture reminisces about his days as a boy adventurer, juxtaposed with humorous and surreal scenes like Venture accidentally stepping on a miniaturized helper.
Next week on The Venture Brothers.
And in a final twist, the episode teases a non-existent Part 3, featuring Hank begging Brock to end his misery in an Arctic setting, keeping in line with the show's penchant for playful misdirection and meta-humor. Diving into the cosmic chaos of 20 Years to Midnight, the Venture clan gets a spooky surprise, a giant alien called the Grand Galactic Inquisitor. As Dr. Venture finds his dad's old tape, they learn they've got to assemble a mystery invention before midnight to save humanity. No pressure, right?
It has to do with those mysterious deep space radio signals, you know, the ones I received back when you were just a boy.
Off they zoom to Spider Skull Island, only to bump into Pirate Ghost and the clever Jonas Jr. Meanwhile, Hank and Dean uncover a gadget in the weirdest place, a walking stick. In the big city, Sally Impossible is caught in a family drama.
Please, Richard, let me go.
And Dr. Venture's trying not to be the bad guy. It's a wild race against time, with stretchy villains, robot babysitters, and an alien that just wants you to ignore me. With the world hanging by a thread, will the Ventures save the day? Tune in for a wacky, high-flying adventure where the family squabbles meet alien fiascos. Venturing into double-date playfulness, Victor, Echo November, takes off with the Venture Boys gearing up for a night out. Dean's overzealous shaving and Hank's bad outfit get a parental eye roll. And Brock's firm advice on date etiquette. Dr. Orpheus's old-timey birds and bees talk to Triana sets the tone for innocence, but the real chaos is elsewhere. Meanwhile, Phantom Limb, with limbs invisible due to a botched science experiment, is busy being a baddie, selling stolen art to mafiosos, and dodging Dr. Girlfriend's complaints.
This is arch-villaining to you. It's a stolen Rembrandt. That's nefarious.
A parallel plot has the Monarch, their bitter rival, scheming to make his nemesis jealous, with a date from LiveJournal, no less. Culinary chaos erupts as lies, tales of vanishing limbs, and the Monarch's antics collide in the restaurant. Brock, the unflappable bodyguard, deals with darkness at the Venture compound, complete with Dolly Parton distractions and severed limbs. Rusty's, it's fine.
Most of my blood is on the floor, and the only thing keeping me alive is our lack of storage.
Back at the date, Hank dries his pants. Kim dreams of villainy, and Brock, in his birthday suit, leaps through the windows to save the day. In the end, our heroes, Hank and Dean, find their dates, consider them arch-enemies, talk about love battles. And post-credits, Billy's mechanical hand and Rusty's sling hint at even more misadventures to come. What a night for Team Venture. Venturing into a world of funny chaos, Viva Los Muertos brings back our daring heroes in a whirlwind of action and mystery. When the Monarch's henchman meets his end at the hands of Brock, Dr. Venture reanimates him, creating Venturestein. But reanimation isn't simple, and Venturestein's not too thrilled, especially about Brock. Meanwhile, a Scooby-Doo-like gang of aging hippies stumbles upon the Venture compound, thinking it's haunted, and they're in for a treat. or a trick.
I can feel a mystery coming on.
10? You said I could see my parents.
As they probe into mysteries and misunderstandings, Brock wrestles with his conscience at Dr. Orpheus's party, leading to a hallucinatory revelation.
You're going to Special Ops Heaven.
Really?
Brilliant!
In a chaotic twist, the boys discover their own clones, and Venturstein saves the day in a bizarre showdown. In the end, Brock tries to atone for his violence, treating Venturstein to an unconventional form of therapy. Venturing into high stakes and heart-fluttering moments, Showdown at Cremation Creek Part 1, the Monarch's bachelor playfulness led to an accidental capture of the Venture family. Amid the chaos, Dr. Girlfriend, now fiancé, nearly calls off their wedding when she spots the Ventures in a holding cell.
I wanted to prove to you I was gonna let bygones be bygones. Turn over a new leaf.
Then why are they in our holding cell?
A clever cover-up by the Monarch keeps the wedding plans afloat. Meanwhile, the magical order of the Triad faces off against villainous Torrid, only to debate their superhero seriousness later. But trouble brews as Phantom Limb, ignoring the Sovereign's advice, prepares an attack on the Monarch, threatening to obliterate the wedding and everyone present unless he gets Dr. Girlfriend back.
You have 5 minutes to turn over my girlfriend, or I will destroy your ridiculous cocoon.
The stakes couldn't be higher as the episode leaves us hanging at the altar. Continuing into chaos with Showdown at Cremation Creek Part 2, the Wedding Crashers are none other than Phantom Limb's minions, including Rockers, Klaus Nomi, and Iggy Pop. Dr. Girlfriend faints as Bowie leaps into action, but oh no, she's kidnapped.
What say you slip out of that tacky little white lie, put on your Queen Lutheria costume?
Meanwhile, Dean's in a wild fantasy with Giant Boy Detective, thinking he's saving a princess. But back to reality, Brock's rallying the troops into murder flies, and little Hank sneaks into battle, only to be saved from a free fall by Brock. It's a full-on brawl, with Dr. Monarch and Dr. Venture escaping mayhem. As Bowie, ever the hero, thwarts Phantom Limb, Dean's dreamland wraps up as the real adventure crashes to an end. And for a cliffhanger, Dr. Girlfriend has jaw-dropping news for the Monarch.
Monarch,
What?
Cut to credits before she spills. Wow, this episode was a wild ride, right? The mix of action and humor was spot on, especially with Dean's trippy side adventure. It really added a unique flavor to the whole Monarch and Phantom Limb showdown. And that cliffhanger? Wow! What did you think? Comment below whether you were as hooked as I was. The episode Shadow Man 9 in the Cradle of Destiny kicks off with the Monarch and Dr. Girlfriend entangled with killer robots post-wedding revelations. Whoa! While Henchmen 21 and 24 try to keep order, Dr. Girlfriend's tiny terrors, Kevin and Tim Tom, assert their tiny but mighty rule.
Bet there isn't even anyone here above, what, an 18?
Bam! Flashbacks reveal Dr. Girlfriend's romantic past with the sinister Phantom Limb. And a surprise twist.
Gentleman 9! Shoving! What? Oh, am I 9? I thought I was Shadow Guy 6.
The Monarch once served as her awkward, love-struck Shadow Man 9. Wham! Trials and tribulations lead to the guild interrogating both, with execution on the table for the Monarch. As past tales of villainy and romance unfold, it's revealed that the Monarch started his path of arching Dr. Venture way back in college. Oh my. With loyalties tested and identities questioned, the duo must prove their devotion to each other.
Proved your romantic and professional compatibility, and you have even proved the Monarch's innocence.
In the end, it's their bond that saves them, earning the guild's approval and a snake-bound duo-ship ceremony. Hooray! But just as harmony is restored, the Phantom Limb lurks, seeking misguided revenge, while the Monarch eyes his new dominion, the very abode of his arch-nemesis. Uh-oh. Diving into the world of high-stakes business, the Doctor of Sin finds Dr. Venture scrambling to save his company. Whoa! With a general unimpressed by his old gadgets,
A lot of it's the same impressive stuff I saw back when your dad was running the show.
the mysterious Dr. Henry Killinger swoops in to work some magic, upgrading the compound and hiring a team of Venchmen. Bam! Suspicion brews as Dr. Orpheus senses Killinger's dark side.
Your
Have until noon tomorrow to vacate the premises.
It's chaos and confusion until Brock, Orpheus, and the alchemist uncover Killinger's true plot.
Make your blood feud official. Act now. Benchmen are standing by for your order.
To turn Dr. Venture into a villain. Oh my. In a wild twist, Dr. Venture fires Killinger, choosing his scruples over shadows, while Killinger ominously muses on life's theatrics. Wow. And for a post-credits giggle, Venture's outdated, harmless threat from the Monarch adds just the right pinch of humor. Zipping back to the invisible hands of fate, we witness a tumble that sends Billy Quizboy's memories flooding back. As Billy's past unfolds, we see a quiz show gone wrong.
That isn't what he wrote! He's a cheater! Cheater! Cheater!
Thanks to Pete White, a pal with a secret. He's got albinism and a knack for causing trouble. After Billy's quiz show scandal, Pete drags him into a messy adventure, aiming to land them jobs at Venture Compound. Instead, Billy ends up in a brutal brawl, costing him an eye and a hand.
I was disqualified because you jumped in the ring to get your hand.
Enter Brock Samson and Colonel Gathers, who give Billy bionic upgrades to spy on a university professor, soon to be known as Phantom Limb. But when a cheating scandal and an explosive experiment reveal Phantom Limb's deadly touch, Brock's new job is babysitting Dr. Venture, and Billy's left with a wiped mind, until his memories make a surprise comeback. Rolling into the wacky world of the buddy system, Dr. Venture kicks off his day camp for boy adventurers, complete with funny booths and unhinged instructors like Action Johnny and the mysterious ghost pirate captain, Wham! Meanwhile, the sneaky murderous Muppets, Tim, Tom, and Kevin disguise as kids to spy for the Monarch.
Honey, have you seen Tim, Tom, and Kevin?
You murderous Muppets? I set them out on a thing.
But sharp-eyed Brock isn't fooled. Uh-oh, new kid Dermot stirs up trouble, claiming his dad's a secret agent, and taunting Hank and Dean with tall tales. Oh my, chaos erupts when a gorilla attack leads to Billy losing his mechanical hand. Again. Bam! And just when things couldn't get any weirder, Dr. Z shows up and Dean finally snaps.
That's not how!
Whoa! Silent Sally speaks!
Standing up for Triana and himself with his fists. Whoa, it's a wild day at the Venture Compound that ends with Dr. Venture's cloning skills saving the day.
Yeah, first place. Then in boy adventurer tradition, we poured victory plasma over him.
Leaving everyone to wonder, just who is Dermot's mysterious father? Hooray! Zooming to the daring do's of the Lepidopterus, the Monarch tries to outwit his latest rival, the other Dr. Venture.
Reduce speed to impulse power! Charge the lightning cannon! All battle stations at the ready!
With Spider Skull Island's super defenses and a crew of OSI butterfly experts giving advice, it's not easy being bad. The Monarch's gotta get creative with his top 3 henchmen and some sneaky tricks up his sleeve.
Dr. Venture is a guild section rep.
Finally! Vengeance is mine!
Will his wild schemes be enough to take down Team Venture? It's a classic battle of wits and wills in this wild, wing-flapping showdown. In The Family That Slays Together, Stays Together Part 1, Dean and Hank are in big trouble, kidnapped by the sneaky Muppets, and Brock Samson is fighting off baddies left and right. Imagine this, Brock's gotta deal with assassins hired just to take him out, like Herb Trigger, who loves a chilling finish.
Killing is more than just a job for him.
Business or pleasure? Ecstasy?
And Go Fish, the sea-savvy killer. In a twist of fate, ejection seats from a car squish Herb Trigger flat. Then Brock goes full ninja with a fishing hat, turning the tables on Go Fish.
God the Lord, the strength of my salvation, thou hast covered my head in the day of battle.
Amidst all this, the Monarch's crew finds an empty Venture compound, while Brock takes the Ventures to safety, only to run into more trouble in LA. It's a non-stop thrill fest with danger at every turn. Diving back into danger, in The Family That Slays Together Stays Together Part 2, the heat is on for Brock Samson. General Treister, executive leader of the OSI, is on a mission to find our muscle-bound hero after 3 assassins meet their wacky ends.
Dead Trigger sniper, found in a dumpster outside of a strip club.
Apparently he's a bad tipper.
Meanwhile, the Venture boys are dealing with cops who think their lives are too crazy to be true. Then, the cleaner swoops in with a lemony fresh rescue.
Let me guess, you're the cleaner?
The Monarch, desperate for Dr. Venture to show, threatens our favorite helper bot, Helper. It all explodes into a wild showdown at dawn, with Brock caught between OSI agents, butterfly baddies, and an accidental clone army. In the end, Brock's had enough. He quits everything, only for chaos to follow with a bang. And who's behind it all? Molotov cocktease, wiping out her competition with a sinister toast. Venturing into a whirlwind of timelines, Blood of the Father, Heart of Steel brings the chaos. We kick off with Brock Sampson, our rugged hero, reeling from a blast and embarking on a wild escape. Meanwhile, at the Venture compound, Sergeant Hatred and the gang, now including a dog named Hitler, battle neo-Nazis in a mix-up that's all shades of crazy.
Working with Nazis now, that's pretty low even for you.
As the story flips back and forth, we find Brock crashing through windows and dealing with heart troubles, literally.
Well then, perhaps we'll leave the two of you to discuss what it is we should do with you.
All while Hank and Dean Venture fumble through their own bizarre adventures, blurring the lines between games and reality. It's a topsy-turvy ride that realigns by the end, leaving our characters and viewers alike ready for more. Diving into Handsome Ransom, the Monarch nabs Hank and Dean, but superhero Captain Sunshine swoops in, saving the day, and mistaking Hank for a lost kid needing hero.
It's a good thing I found you when I did. Your mom must be worried sick about you.
I don't have a mom.
Thanks shiny capes and sunburns. Captain Sunshine, also a news anchor by night, tries to turn Hank into his new Wonder Boy, but doesn't see how weird it looks. Meanwhile, Dr. Venture and team hatch a mint plan to save Hank with a shrunken Sergeant Hatred. Oops.
You can be a great Wonder Boy someday, Wonder Boy. That's just it! I'm not Wonder Boy!
In a plot twist, Sunshine smooches Hank goodbye, and Hank's all, say hi to Batman for me. In the end, everyone's just trying to catch a break, and a cap. Venturing into a web of intrigue, self-medication kicks off with Dr. Venture in a wild rooftop chase by the Monarch, only to be paused by therapy time.
What?
It's Wednesday night. I have my therapy.
What the hell is he talking about?
The episode takes a comedic dive into a group therapy session with former boy adventurers, including the robot, Roboy, and the now-grown Wonder Boy, all unpacking their quirky baggage.
Me first? Well, I have a bit of an eating disorder.
No.
Lance?
But when their therapist suddenly dies, thanks to a snake, the group turns detectives to solve the murder, leading to bar brawls and Dr. Z's doorstep. Meanwhile, Sergeant Hatred battles his inner demons, ending up tranquilized by henchmen, proving that even heroes have their off days. Back home, Dr. Venture has a eureka moment, realizing that he's ready to move forward.
I'm not a boy adventurer. I have my own business, my own family.
While Roboy finds a new family, the Monarch scheme is revealed, ensuring his vendetta against Venture continues. Zooming to the madcap mayhem of the Diving Bell versus the Butter Glider, we see the Venture clan in a wild chase, with Dr. Venture out cold and Henchman 21 in a surprising command position. The Monarch flaunts his flashy new toy, while his minions grumble.
Why does it smell like French fries?
Biodiesel! She's a lean green murder machine!
And King Gorilla's party takes a smoky turn, as the Ventures face a shrinking submarine odyssey inside Dr. Venture's body, revealing haunting discoveries.
Holy. So that's what happened.
The Monarch's marital woes and Henchman 21's bar-side revelations stir up trouble. It all crescendos with a giant-sized Venture and a crushed Butter Glider, leaving us to ponder the fate of the beloved X3 in a cheeky post-credits cliffhanger. Venturing into the world of mystery, Everybody Comes to Hank's kicks off with Hank turning detective after Dr. Venture nudges him to get a job. With Dean off to New York, Hank starts Hank Co., selling stuff from around their home.
Hank, you know my address. It's here. I live here, and I don't plan on buying back any more of my remotes.
But the real buzz is his detective agency. Teaming up with the Alchemist, they're on the case to find out who Dermot's dad is. But the clues are bonkers. No one's story matches, and a key Dermot claims is from his dad leads to even more head-scratching.
You tell us the truth, or I will make your dentist a rich man.
A visit to Nikki, Dermot's sister, spins Hank's world upside down, and she's got a thing for him, and they end up closer than just family friends. The spell-slinging duo, Orpheus and the Alchemist, uncover the wild truth with some magic. Dr. Venture, not Brock, is Dermot's dad from a past fling.
You will never see this girl or her baby ever again!
Well, I think that's a decision Nikki and I need to make.
Hank, shocked by his own half-brother revelation, tries to erase the achy memory but wants to remember his first romantic adventure. Alas, he can't keep just the good parts. After the memory wipe, Hank's left with a secret message from his past self. And just as things couldn't get weirder, Dr. Venture pops up with a new hairdo. Hey, if you're as intrigued as Hank in detective mode, smash that like and subscribe to show some love. Now back to the Venture madness. Diving into the neon glow of bright lights, Dean City, Dean Venture lands a cool intern gig at Impossible Industries in the Big Apple. Little does he know, his new boss, Professor Impossible, and grumpy Baron Underbite are secretly plotting with Phantom Limb's Revenge Society to get even with old enemies.
And you didn't think you had it in you to be a supervillain. This is the most deliciously evil thing I've ever seen.
Dean stumbles upon their plan, gets a shock, and is fed a fib about the society being a back-to-work club for washed-up baddies. Meanwhile, Dr. Venture is cooking up a Broadway show about his childhood and crashes at Dean's place. The Revenge Society gears up to nab Dr. Venture, but things go hilariously wrong.
Better go, new guy.
Including a taxi trap, backfiring, and a mix-up leading to a trip to an alternate universe. It all goes up in flames with Cody, Professor Impossible's fiery captive brother-in-law, while Dean scrambles to fix things. In the end, a portal pops open, revealing an alternate universe Dr. Venture who's got more hair, cash, and drama than our Rusty could dream of. Diving to the chaos of Operation Prom, Dr. Venture throws a homebrew prom for Hank and Dean. But as you'd expect in the Venture universe, nothing is simple.
No, you're clear. He's outside. Said we had a security breach.
Whoa! Henchman 21 arrives, seeking closure but ends up shot, igniting a series of wild mishaps. Bam! Prom night is an emotional roller coaster. Dean's jealousy over Triana's boyfriend boils over.
Oh, I want you to meet Dean, my friend from back home. Dean, this is my boyfriend, Raven.
While Hank's date plans flop spectacularly. Meanwhile, the adult spy games escalate with shocking betrayals and undercover double crossings, all peppered with the show's signature quirky humor. Hilarious! As the night spirals, Brock faces heartbreak and a battle against love and duty. Uh-oh, Operation Prom left me in stitches and unexpectedly emotional, especially with 21's poignant graveyard scene juxtaposed with the silly debate over a Rusty Venture, an amazing blend of humor and heart. Bravo! Venturing into spooky playfulness, a very Venture Halloween kicks off with a throwback to Hank and Dean's comical attempts to frighten their dad, Dr. Venture. With haunted bedroom pranks that never quite hit the mark, boom! Flash forward, the pranks evolve into a shocking email and STD scare.
I get an email of yours by mistake? Something about that lump you keep talking about?
What? Just a Halloween trick, setting the tone for a night of mischief and mayhem. Bam! At the Venture compound, the mysterious Dr. Orpheus gets the green light to host a magical gathering, while Hank dons a last-minute California raisin outfit, and Emo Dean tags along with the mischief maker, Dermot, dressed as the Crow. Oh my. Meanwhile, Sergeant Hatred debates candy bar sizes, and the crew bets on trick-or-treaters braving their daunting security. Wham!
I had my money on electric fence. Who had laser sentry? I had lasers.
Chaos unfolds at the ancient Brimstone Assembly, full of magical tricks and a risque act that has Dr. Orpheus worried for his daughter. Whoa! While Hank and Dermot chicken out of a haunted house, Dean's inside encounter with the peculiar Ben and his crotch-sniffing creature Rico leads to shocking revelations about the Venture Boy's origins.
That whole field out there? Mass grave. Between your grandpap and your old man, there's been hundreds of people killed on your property.
As zombie chaos erupts outside, Santa, aka the Master, saves the day with a blast, and the Brimstone Assembly reflects on the true spirit of Halloween. Hooray! With Dean now questioning his existence, the episode closes with him dodging Hank's queries with a comical quip on Beer's takes, leaving viewers both haunted and humored by the Venture's Halloween escapade. The episode What Color Is Your Clean Suit picks up right after the boys' big prom night. Our rugged hero Brock and his flashy comrade Shore Leave sniff out the trail of the slippery Molotov and the gigantic Monstroso, only to find cheeky clues of their escape. Back at the compound, Dean's miffed at Hank, But hey, Hank's had his own overnight adventure. Amid these tricks, the Venture's arch-nemesis, the Monarch, pines for his missing henchman 21, who's now top dog at Sphinx Team.
Look, I can't be seen with you. I got a good thing going on here. You're gonna ruin this for me.
Dr. Venture, in a cash crunch, ropes in Billy and Pete for a wild project, enticing a rich, geeky nemesis, St. Cloud, to fund their playfulness. Meanwhile, Dean ditches his boyhood for a broody makeover, catching feels for a grad student, Talia, amidst a science project gone haywire, where interns morph into superhumans.
They were as big as Andre Giants! Telling you, Venture has created a race of Supermen!
The Monarch mistakenly thinks he's got super soldiers too. In a madcap rush, Dean faces off in bizarre contests to save the day, while Dr. Mrs. the Monarch outsmarts everyone with a real cure, wrapped up in an electric butterfly kiss. And as the dust settles, none's the wiser about the wild ride, except a giddy cocoon crew. Diving into the wild jungle adventures, Venture Libre sees Dr. Venture, Hank, and Sergeant Hatred in a bind. Tasked by General Manhowers, they head to Porta Bahia to confront Venturestein.
You've been following the news out of Porta Bahia? Of course not. It's classified. But a bunch of no good commies been trying to take over them.
A monster leading a rebellion. But things get wacky when Hank, juiced up on coffee berries, becomes the Bat, outsmarting creature after creature. Meanwhile, in Colorado, confusion ensues with Congresswoman Marsha Backwood's visit. The episode ends with a bang, quite literally, as the Congresswoman meets a surprising fate.
Yeah, I can fix this.
And the Ventures escape with the help of Helper, only to turn her into a political monster. Back at home, the beat of music changes, and Dean faces his brothers and Dermot's dismay. Diving into OS I Love You, our Venture crew gets tangled in a wild escape tale on the OSI hover quarters. Monstroso spills the beans on the Guild's secret leaders after Brock's pressing questions.
The man now known as the Sovereign was once just a petty super criminal.
But then, poof, the investors ghost him right through the wall. Meanwhile, Dean tries to do a good deed, bringing 2 lab experiments by accident. The chaos ramps up when Molotov cocktease, the fierce assassin, tricks everyone, causing havoc and a deadly chase. It's a game of cat and mouse, with disguises, close calls, and a fake-out death.
She killed all those agents.
Double agents. Traitors, every last one of them.
Betrayal, secret moles, and hidden enemies. Just a regular day for Team Venture, huh? Those pesky investors bamboozle everyone, leaving only their hats behind. Hank's muscle loss from suit overuse is the cherry on top, as Gatherers laments missing his own assets. Slipping into super spy mode, Bot Seeks Bot takes us on a wild trip at Boggles, the Clue Clown's funeral. Red Mantle, part of a dynamic duo with Dragoon, must scoot off to a guild meeting to pick a new villain for their council. Sneaky OSI agents Brock and crew are spying for secret council members' identities.
We all know who we really are, and the new guy, well, that's clearly phased. Look at his head.
Chaos ensues when Vendetta, a robot with a twisty past and part of the guild, unknowingly woos an undercover ghost robot. Meanwhile, Dr. Venture and Billy believe they're hitting a costume party, but they crash a villainous nightclub instead.
I think you guys must be lost.
Close calls, mistaken identities, and a disco ball disaster end this caper with a bang. And a secret invite leaves us hanging. What a night! Venturing into a twist of fate, the Devil's Grip grips us with a wild tale. Whoa! After a faux death at a villain's nightclub, Dr. Venture's sons, Dean and Hank, are whisked away to godparents in far-flung locales. Bam! In Tangiers, Dean's met with Colonel Gentleman's odd jobs and old enemies, while Hank in Boca Raton learns of a strange Venture burial tradition involving, let's just say, a unique fertilizer from the action man Rodney.
Dude, what are you doing? Venture traditions, son.
Meanwhile, Dr. Venture, not dead but kidnapped by the Monarch, plays along with torturous escapades ranging from giant bells to tooth drills, all while Sergeant Hatred and Gary, now allies, embark on a rescue mission that turns into a personal quest for trust and vengeance. Oh my. Hank discovers familial connections and helps orchestrate a reunion with Hart, while Dean and Colonel Gentleman face life's melancholic truths.
Gentlemen's list of things not to do. Number 1, get involved with a person a third-year age.
Whoa. In the end, chaos reigns as the Venture world collides with fiery crashes and bittersweet realizations. leading to a wrecked Monarch's home and a reflective gathering back at the Venture compound. Hooray! The brothers share a heartfelt moment over their clone origins, finding strength in their unique Venture bond. Aww. In this special episode, All This and Gargantua 2, the adventure rockets to space. The Revenge Society, beefed up with new members, Radical Left, and Zero, plots to rob Gargantua 2, the first space casino.
Because the largest space station ever built is also the first ever to be open to the public.
Team Venture, minus Dr. Venture, but bizarrely including Scamp, the dead dog, are invited to its grand opening. Plot twists abound. The Monarch, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch, and Henchman 21 stumble upon Gargantua 2 blueprints and race to the station, suspecting Phantom Limb's involvement. Meanwhile, members of the Council of 13 are mysteriously dropping like flies. The Sovereign shocks everyone with a plan to destroy Gargantua 2.
Yes, we're just about to commence our heist.
Emotional moments hit when Dr. Venture discovers his brother JJ is dying of cancer. Out in the cosmos, General Tristor, previously thought lost in space, reappears, hilariously mistaking JJ for an alien. As looming asteroids threaten the station, Brock Sampson teams up with Amber Gold, a cunning OSI agent, in a daring mission to protect Gargantua 2. Meanwhile, Dr. Venture and Deal hustle to fix the station's protective ray shield. In a heroic finale, JJ valiantly pilots the station's bridge into space, sacrificing himself in a heart-wrenching explosion. The climax brings Dr. Killinger against the Investors in an epic Umbrella versus Lightsabers duel, revealing they're brothers. And back on Earth, at JJ's funeral, Dr. Venture inherits his brother's billion-dollar legacy and a new HQ in New York, leaving him utterly shocked. You know, this episode really got me, especially JJ revealing his cancer to Dr. Venture. Amidst all the chaos, like the Monarch's wild space heist, that moment was seriously impactful. Diving into the misadventure of hostile makeover, the Venture family strikes gold. Whoa!
Wakey, wakey, Mr. Venture! You're about to be a very rich man.
Dr. Venture inherits a mansion and a fortune in New York after his brother's passing. Bam! Big city life hits them with a shopping spree and new challenges. Hooray! They meet the Crusaders Action League, superheroes offering protection for a fee.
Well, let's go ahead and get you started with your gold plan today, okay?
And why would I need the cast of Godspell?
But Dr. Venture says, no thanks. Bodyguard chaos ensues. Brock Sampson returns, bumping Sergeant Hatred to a desk job. Oh my.
Oh, I'm stuck warming the bench? I'm not built for a desk job, General. Give me a new client.
Meanwhile, the villainous Council of 13 is scrambling without a leader, and Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch is caught in a tricky offer. Will she choose loyalty or power? Wow. Henchman 21 and the Monarch try a sneaky break-in, but get tangled up in their own mess, while Hank Venture heroically misreads a poolside scene, leading to a high-flying misunderstanding. Uh-oh, New York, new antics. Venturing into a twist-filled tale, Baking Miracles dives into the past and present with a dash of mystery. Whoa, Henchman 21 unravels the legend of the Blue Morpho to a skeptical Monarch. Meanwhile, the Venture's day out turns topsy-turvy when Hank's crush, Serena, daughter of the formidable Wide Whale, crosses paths with them, sparking a clash. Bam! As Wide Whale throws a council meeting, Serena longs for normalcy.
Oh, quit following me around like a fucking puppy dog. You're embarrassing yourself.
Uh-oh. In the Ventec lab, an experiment gone awry leads to Dean getting more brainy, and a mix-up at a swanky party puts the Monarch in hot water, thanks to the sneaky villain, Copycat. Oh my.
Classy bird there, this Monarch. They do this kind of thing a lot.
In the end, Hank's daring move for love leaves Serena gazing from her balcony as we discover Dean's miracle comes with a catch. Wow. Swinging into Rapacity in blue, we find Dr. Thaddeus Rusty Venture woken up by an alarm for a science conference. Yikes. He urges his pals Pete White and Billy Quizboy to whip up an impressive invention.
So what are you gonna present? Well, that's why I'm down here. You tell me. Wow me.
Wham! Cut to Dr. Mrs. the Monarch at home, advising her villainous hubby to stop obsessing over arching Dr. Venture to boost his bad guy rep. Uh-oh, but the Monarch and his loyal henchman 21 are already scheming in their secret lair. Sneaky. Meanwhile, Hank Venture gets date advice from Big Bro Dean and tough guy Brock.
Your eyes open, her eyes closed. There's a little trick to them.
But the romance coaching gets cut short by a villainous showdown between Brock and the brutish orangutan, only to be broken up by the soaring Wariana. Back with the Monarch, a home movie reveals his dad, the original Blue Morpho, was a bad guy, throwing him into an identity crisis. Bam! Undeterred, he embraces 21's idea to disguise themselves as Blue Morpho and Kano to take down their competition. Whoa! As the Venture Bros cook up mind control gas, it accidentally evolves their test mice, a disaster they overlook. The gas then wreaks havoc, making Orangutan see demons and causing chaos. Until the Monarch, disguised as Blue Morpho, saves Billy, but accidentally offs Orangutan. Oops. The episode wraps with Dr. Venture mistaken for the heroic Blue Morpho, and Brock, under the gas's trippy influence, finds a romantic spark with Wariana. Hooray! The Monarch dodges his wife's suspicion about his night out, keeping the secret of his new vigilante escapade with a victorious high five to 21. Venturing into a tangle of mishaps, Tanks for Nothing delivers another wild day in the life of the Venture clan. After a spat about villainy with his wife, the Monarch, alongside henchman 21, dashes off to retrieve their car. Meanwhile, Brock Sampson wakes up in a superhero's abode, making a hasty exit.
There's coffee.
Ah, thanks. Hey, I wasn't trying to sneak out or anything.
Chaos unfurls at Ventec Tower when Dr. Venture gets accused of a villain's demise. Stocks plunge, and Brock battles the brilliant but bad think tank.
I have a high-velocity cannon pointed at your chest.
I could dodge it.
As Dr. Mrs. the Monarch consoles the widow Battle Axe and mistakenly pursues her own husband as the enemy, Brock and Wariana defeat Think Tank and kindle a romance. All while the Monarch, high in his father's car, plots a childish revenge on the Ventures. Trouble is definitely brewing as Dr. Mrs. the Monarch sharpens her focus on her real adversary. Stepping into the world of art and villainy, It Happening One Night kicks off with the Doom Factory, a gang of 10 artsy baddies led by Wes Warhammer targeting the Ventures. Meanwhile, Hank's date with Serena takes a wild turn, from a staged robbery to a real-life chip extraction from her arm.
Dad had me chipped like I'm a friggin' poodle or some shit because he's gotta know who I am all the friggin' time, I swear to God.
Brock's on high alert, mistaking a ninja-themed restaurant ruckus for a real threat, only to find Hank and Serena sharing a secret underwater kiss. Dr. Venture's home gets turned into a villainous art party, leaving his gadgets at the mercy of the thieving Doom Factory.
Where are they going with my science things? They're stealing them, honey. You're being arched.
In a twist of fate, the Monarch's stuck on the escaping Doom Factory base, only to fall dramatically as his detonator accidentally wipes out the villains in a fiery explosion, while Hank and Serena's romance sparkles amidst the chaos. Venturing into the world of mistaken identities, a party for Tarzan is a hoot. Dr. Venture gets shot while masquerading as the Blue Morpho. Talk about a costume party gone wrong. This all happens because he wanted to impress celeb buddy Christopher Lambert with a snazzy party. Meanwhile, the Monarch and his pal 21 get tangled in a web of their own making, trying to throw off suspicion.
The Blue Morpho?
The Blue Morpho.
I'm not afraid of the Blue Morpho.
Amidst flashbacks and playfulness, Dr. Venture's party prep turns into a mix-up that has the villain council fooled. But wait, there's a plot twist. Dr. Venture's swanky blue suit is bulletproof. Oops.
That was my jacket and it has a bulletproof lining. He's fine. Idiot thought his pocket blew up.
The Monarch's wife made a big boo-boo. The baddies are bummed. The stakes are realized, and somewhere in the woods, 21 may have done something very permanent. Curtain closes with a lockout. Poor Christopher Lambert never made it to the bash. Diving into the madness of Red Means Stop, we find two villains trapped in a spooky restroom. One's a newcomer, the other a baddie called Maestro Wade. Has been eating, well, let's say he's been surviving in a very gross way. Up above, the OSI and the Guild cook up a wacky plan to trap the mysterious Blue Morpho.
Hamilton, put it back in your pants. We're all here to take down the Blue Morpho. How are the decoys going?
Using the Ventures as live bait. Over at Ventec Tower, it's costume time as the trap springs into action. But the real Dr. Venture is cluelessly noshing away at a dinner party, uncovering some cringy past tales. The Monarch, meanwhile, gets cold feet trying to scab the scary Red Death.
That was so scary! That was so scary!
Oh my god,
That was so scary!
Fucking
scary!
Who's off terrorizing fake ventures. Surprise, the blue Morpho is a no-show, so everyone just ends up at a pool party. The plot twist, Red Death pops over to the Monarch's lair for a surprising heart-to-heart and a shocker ending with the not-so-nice Maestro Wave meeting a chilling fate. Just another day in the life of our kooky venture crew. Venturing into spooky territory, the Venture Bros, and the Curse of the Haunted Problem kicks off Season 7 with ghostly playfulness. Boo! The Ventures think their New York pad is haunted. And who you gonna call? The Order of the Triad.
Since the moment I arrived, my extrasensory, senses have been acutely aware of an unseen presence.
They're like the ghost detectives who find the shocking remains of the family's patriarch, Jonas Venture Sr., hiding in a high-tech box. Bam! Meanwhile, love-struck Hank is all about winning over Serena, the daughter of the big bad White Whale. Hooray! To impress her, he flips into his tough guy persona, Enrico Matassa.
You see how easy Enrico Matassa take care of you best men? That is just a taste.
And tries to join her dad's villainous crew. Wow, but there's a twist. To prove himself, he's got to take aim at none other than the Monarch, all tied up and unmasked. Talk about a family affair with a side of ghostly mystery. Zooming into the Rorqual affair, Henchman 21 wakes from a wacky nightmare straight into chaos. Rushing to help the Monarch, he finds himself captured by White Whale, a sea creature themed baddie with a grudge. Turns out, the Monarch may have bumped off White Whale's brother, Dr. Dugong, by accident.
I have cuddle back. Look into my eyes!
As the Guild of Calamitous Intent buzzes with a bounty on Blue Morpho, Red Death, a villain who's all about the drama, steps up, hoping to snag a seat on the Guild's council. Back at White Whales, the Monarch's wife and Gary team up to save him, bumping into Hank Venture, who's also entangled in the mess, dressed as his alter ego, Enrico Matassa.
Plan B?
Just when it looks like curtains for the Monarch, in crashes Red Death with a twist. Dr. Dugong is alive, the whole gang's stunned, and White Whale's family gets a surprise reunion. Then out of nowhere, a new Blue Morpho appears, sending everyone's heads spinning, especially the Monarch's, who's now off the hook. Venturing into a whirlwind of revelations, arrears and signs picks up with chaos at the Ventec Tower. Dr. Orpheus and the Order of the Triad sense trouble, while Billy Quizboy tries to save Pete White. Suddenly the Blue Morpho zooms in, but plot twist, it's Vendetta, a Guild Council member with a shocking past as the original Blue Morpho. Memories flood back, he's really Don Fitzcarraldo, the Monarch's dad. Vendetta connects to the building, finding Jonas Sr.'s digital ghost, leading to a jaw-dropping backstory.
I've no idea how long I was out, but one fateful day, I woke.
Involving betrayal, resurrection, and a decades-old massacre. Tensions rise, the Guild and OSI scramble, and Vendetta's identity rocks everyone, especially the Monarch. In a touching yet tragic finale, Vendetta confirms he's the Monarch's father before short-circuiting, while the Ventures face the aftermath with a chaotic Thanksgiving parade on the horizon. Oh man, this episode really hit the spot with its dark humor and crazy twists. Vendetta being the Blue Morpho and the Monarch's dad? Mind-blowing. I love the mix of surprises and laughs. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Venturing into the wacky world of villainy, the high cost of loathing hilariously showcases the Monarch's wild dreams of grandeur.
Oh, clever Venture, so practiced in the art of deceit.
Only to face reality with a deflated balloon cocoon and a lack of evil funds. Wham! Meanwhile, the Ventures are juggling their own chaotic changes. Dean's college leap, Hank's entrepreneurial room renting, and Dr. Venture's bloody tech demo gone wrong.
And the future belongs to Ventec!
Bam! As the Monarch and his loyal sidekick 21 face an unlikely bank heist and a flustered professor turned supervillain, Dean steps in with $1 million peace offer.
$1 million? There!
Back at home, the Monarch is hilariously awarded Top Earner and levels up in the villain world, thanks to his unintended success. Venturing back to the ashes, the Inamorata Consequence has the Venture clan at their old burned down home for a big peace talk.
Have gathered here at the quinquagenary of the signing of the Treaty of Tolerance.
Imagine robotic helpers made by Jonas Venture Sr. are tossed away because people got scared of them. Dean chats with a helper robot, feeling like he's gabbing to a kitchen appliance.
Yet we were both made by great men who were compelled by love and guilt.
While everyone else chit-chats with him just fine. Is Dean missing something? A robot even mixes up Dean for his dad, Rusty. Hint hint, lone drama. Plus, there is a nifty treat. Call in and maybe win an ice cream cake of Brock or the Monarch. How sweet is that? Zooming into the unicorn in captivity, Doc Venture teams up with Billy and Pete White to whip up a teleporter.
Save it, Hobbit Oppenheimer. We don't even know if it worked this time.
Plot twist, the Monarch, our solo supervillain, gets roped into a one-off team heist by Dr. Mrs. the Monarch. In exchange, he'll level up in the villain world.
Yes, sir. Curtain goes up at 2100 sharp. Tonightsville.
So he joins Copycat and a quirky crew, like Tunnel Vision, who can, well, tunnel, and Presto Changeo, the master of disguise, to nab Doc's shiny new teleporter.
Don't change you, I'm in!
Good. Find the mainframe and get that transmitter plugged in.
The mission? Sneak into Ventec Tower. Its gadgets, disguises, and laughs as the Monarch flies high for a sneaky steal. Venturing into the world of villainous intrigue, the Terminus Mandate features an undercover Dr. Mrs. the Monarch and Red Death plotting with the Peril Partnership at Vincenzo's restaurant, while Phantom Limb dons a comical chef disguise.
No, I ordered the stuffed peppers, so save me one.
Dr. Venture, meanwhile, is all too eager to court danger by pursuing the deadly Teresa deity, hoping for romance. The episode takes a nostalgic turn as council members revisit their storied past with final arching assignments.
But it does mean that all of us can no longer be active villains.
Highlighting their personal growth, or lack thereof. With the bittersweet end of their villainous careers, the characters confront their future, with Dr. Mrs. the Monarch's poignant reunion with Novia and the Monarch's childish tantrum showcasing the episode's emotional range. Venturing into a chilling adventure, the Forecast manufacturer sweeps us into a snowy New York City chaos. Dr. Venture and Billy Quizboy uncover a secret phone in the penthouse. It's a job offer for Dr. Venture, no less.
No, because it's not a bomb. It's a huge old phone.
Meanwhile, love-struck Hank braves the storm for his girlfriend Serena. But oops, a slip knocks him right out. The Monarch and his trusty henchman 21 are hot on the trail of the Creep, a baddie who stirred up this blizzard with stolen tech.
All stolen from the guild, all of it, and now I steal you from the guild.
It's a wild mashup of rescue missions, snowstorms, and villain showdowns. Hold on to your hats, it's gonna be a bumpy ride. And the season finale, the Safrax Protocol, things get super intense at Ventec Tower. A sneaky blackout team from the Guild of Calamitous Intent captures Dr. Venture with a teleporter. They whisk him away to their space HQ, Meteor Majeur, for a wild tenning ceremony.
So good to see you again. You look like $1 million. Trim! Oh, so trim. What's your secret?
Meanwhile, Hank Venture, just like Lando from Star Wars, is in a snowy dreamland, knocking over creepy dolls with the Action Man. They chat about their favorite movies, totally unaware of the real-world chaos. Back at the tower, Brock Sampson, the unstoppable bodyguard, turns into a one-man army, taking down guild agents left and right in epic movie-style showdowns.
For real? You serious?
Yeah, seriously. What about you, guy with the beat on me who needs a reload?
At Meteor Majeur, the Monarch faces bizarre trials to prove he's a top villain. He's challenged to slay Dr. Venture, but chooses not to, showing a change of heart.
Your sword is without blood. Emperor Flavius lives?
Yeah.
The Guild applauds, leveling him up to a big-time villain. In a shocking twist, Agents Watch and Ward reveal Dr. Venture and the Monarch are blood-related. Whoa! And guess what? Hank has vanished from the hospital, leaving Dean worried. But Hank, and his Batman mask, seems ready for a new adventure. As the intense season finale of the Safrax Protocol leaves us hanging on the edge, the story takes an electrifying turn in the movie Radiant is the Blood of the Baboon Heart. Just 3 days after Hank's mysterious disappearance, tensions are sky high. While the OSI is preoccupied with a cunning villain and the elusive Arch group, the drama continues to unfold. Meanwhile, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch and the scary but honorable Red Death are hot on the trail of this new threat.
This is a threat against our very foundation. This body has guided organized villainy for a century, and
imagine their surprise when the Monarch finds out that he might be related to Dr. Venture. No more arching him until they're sure. Speaking of Dr. Venture, he's got his own problems. His latest gadget, the Helper Pod, has a mind of its own, floating and blasting music when it should be assisting. And Dean? Oh boy, he's feeling super guilty for kissing Hank's girlfriend and seeks magical help from the good Dr. Orpheus and tough Jefferson Twilight.
You have come to seek my aid in locating your brother.
Yes! How'd you know that?
Hank's trying to find himself, chatting with figments of his imagination, until he stumbles back home to the old Venture compound and bumps into Dermot, his old friend and an OSI wannabe.
Dermot! Listen! I need your help! Fuck yeah!
Dermot's got a photo that adds to the family mystery. It's signed to Dr. Venture from a Bobby St. Simone. Chaos continues as Jefferson tangles with some vampire Blackulas in Chicago, and Dean gets a bite that he tries to hide. Poor Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch gets framed by Arch, and it's Red Death to the rescue. In a twisty turn, the Monarch and his loyal sidekick 21 join Arch, only to be tricked. Arch's boss, Mantilla, hijacks the buggy Helper Pods to literally lift Ventec Tower off the ground. Hank's journey leads him to a sanctuary run by Bobby.
You were expecting me?
I've come to. Is your brother with you?
Who spills the beans on her past love affairs, a secret daughter, Mantilla, and a hidden family drama involving the OSI and the Guild. Hank's overwhelmed, and it's like he's in a different world. Purgatory, in fact. Back at the floating tower, the gang's trying to get down without crashing. Dr. Venture, Hatred, the Monarch, and 21 almost get squished by the gravity of the situation and have to scurry into the air ducts for safety. In a bold move, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch confronts Mantilla, who's actually a fan and reveals she might be Hank and Dean's biological mom.
Christy just took away my mom's invisibility and gave it to me, and I gave him my stuff I wasn't planning on using.
And she shuts down the Helper Pods to save the Guild. Now the tower's plummeting back to Earth. As the tower falls, Hank's purgatory turns into a rescue mission when Orpheus and Dean dive in to save him.
Hey, thanks for coming to rescue me.
Forgiveness is in the air as Hank lets go of his grudges against Dean. As they brace for impact, Hatred finds the Ventronic mech. Think of a giant robot suit, and they use it to slow their fall. The Monarch, in typical fashion, messes up and gets ejected, ending up impaled by a statue of his supposed relative, Jonas Venture. In a final twist, the Monarch's life is saved with Dr. Venture's blood, and the truth comes out.
They are not brothers. They're the same guy. Or clones of the same guy, at least.
He's not a Venture by birth, but a clone with a hint of baboon DNA, explaining so much about his personality. In the end, love triumphs over DNA as Ben gives Hank a keepsake watch.
Read the engraving Jonas put on the back there.
Eligi Tua.
Yeah, close enough. It's Latin for choose your family.
Dr. Venture assures Dean of their mother's love. The Monarch, as stubborn as ever, vows to keep the family feud alive. Our adventure wraps with a touching scene from the past as a young Dr. Venture introduces his future sons to the robot Helper, cozy in their artificial womb. Well, that's the Venture Bros for you, a galaxy of laughs, thrills, and epic escapades. But hey, the fun's just getting started. Think the Venture Bros was a trip? Just wait. Gear up for a regular show as Mordecai and Rigby take you on even crazier adventures. Miss this, and you're missing out on the ultimate blend of fun and bizarre. Don't just sit there, your next epic tale is just a tap away.